everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a project requested by some viewers on creating cards with these scrappy backgrounds. In my previous video, I had shared this technique using scraps and gluing them down to create a masterboard or art journal for projects, and this is the sheet that we created. For today's video, I'm going to take this sheet and turn it into some cards. So the first thing I need to do is pull it out of my book. So instead of tearing it, I'm just going to use a blade, a craft knife, and just gently cut this page out. I'd like to keep my book intact, so I just want to take this page out. Also note that this collage is smaller than the page itself. So I'm going to take my craft knife and cut away that excess paper around the edges of my design. So I'm just going to clean that up, get all that extra paper removed, and then I'm going to start cutting this piece down. So I pulled in a little bucket. I have some cardstock on my desk. I've got pre-made card bases and some panels for cards. So I'm just going to pull in 4 A7 note cards, and these are just heavy base weight white cardstock, and this card measures 5 by 7. So I need to cut up my panel to get 4 backgrounds out of this collage for card fronts. So I started cutting. I cut it in half at first, and then I started thinking about the measurements, and I wanted to make sure that I got 4 good-sized panels, and in order to do that, I needed to make sure that the height was not larger than 6 inches. So in this case, that means that my panel would have to be 4 by 6 so that it layered evenly on my card base. I hope that makes sense. So here I am just cutting down those panels. I figured out the size I needed after making the first cut in error. So I ended up having to trim a little bit off, and then for the next piece I knew exactly what I needed. So here are the 4 panels that I ended up cutting. So again, these measure 4 by 6, and I'll be able to layer them up nicely on my 5 by 7 card. All right, so I'm going to pull in some black scraps, and I just wanted to share with you how I store my colored cardstock scraps. I have this little folder. I had shared a video on this a couple of years ago, and I love this method. It's worked well for me over the years. I have a folder for each color family, and I keep this on my desk, and I always go to this first before I pull in a new sheet of cardstock. So this method is fantastic, and I like having all of those colors, and of course they're in rainbow order. So I ended up grabbing some black cardstock and cutting down panels that measure 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And this is going to allow me to have a nice black border around my card panels. I just used some strong glue stick to adhere these panels to my black cardstock, and I really think that that black cardstock allows all of those beautiful colors to just pop off, and I like the way that looks. So I adhered my black panel to all of my card fronts, and then I took these layers and glued them down to the center of my card bases. I'm just using some dot runner for this. I used all different types of glue in today's video. Use what you have. Whatever you've got that works, it's perfect. All right, so now we have 4 card bases, and I think all these need is just a simple sentiment. I have this beautiful set of words from jennycarddesigns with the coordinating dies, and whenever I'm bored, I just stamp extra sentiments and I throw them in this little drawer, and I feel like almost every card that I make, I end up using a sentiment out of this little drawer, so it works out to be perfect. I used some liquid glue and adhered down my sentiments, and then our cards are done. All that I have left are a couple of little pieces of scraps, and I can toss them, I can save them, turn them into bookmarks, or who knows. But that's going to be it. So here's a look at the finished cards that we made. These are absolutely beautiful. I love the way they turned out, and I love using scraps to get more miles out of my crafts. All right, so that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for joining me today. I know this is just a quick little video, but I wanted to share this process with you because some of you had asked. If you have not seen my previous video, I will link to it on screen here. I'll also leave a link to a playlist of Scrap It Up projects for more ways to use up your paper scraps. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today. Have yourself a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!